It's the 5th annual Muppet Fan Hall of Fame induction ceremony, featuring the inductions of Bill Baretta, the Center for Puppetry Arts, John Denver, Whoopi Goldberg, Zach Kenny, Matthew Gaydos and Sam Schultz of Kermitment, Andrew Leal, Peter Linz, Walter, Kristi O, Singulary named Mel, Stulz, and Nat Wilkie, featuring special appearances by John Brangwyne, Will Carrol, Jake Evans, Jarrod Fairclough, J.D. Hansel, Miss Leisure, Lucas Ross, Craig Shemin, and Matthew Soberman.
Hi, I wrote that. I'm Lucas Ross. Pretty important person here in the Muppet fandom, and it is my sweet privilege to induct myself back into the Hall of Fame. I can't do that? Oh, okay, fine. We'll give it to Matt Wilkie. Hey, congratulations to my good friend Matt Wilkie for all he does for the Muppet fandom. Not only for the casual fans, the kids who grew up watching Muppets and then grew into adults that still watch the Muppets and sometimes make their friends and spouses uncomfortable with how much they love the Muppets. But you're also crossing into celebrity fandom. That's right. You have brought celebrities together for these Muppet script readings. How cool is that? And not just that that was cool enough for the fans, you're doing it for important causes too. You're making a difference, celebrating with something that I think Jim Henson would really be happy to see his characters being used for. So congratulations to you, Matt Wilkie, from me and my friend. Oh, can we do this again?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this incredible honor. I truly appreciate it. Thank you especially to Tori for all that you do for the fan community and for organizing these events. And to my fellow inductees, congrats to everybody, including Kristi, Zach, the Singularity known as Mel, Andrew, Chris, and the fellas at Kermitment, Matt, and Sam. What an incredible, incredible group. So happy to be a part of it. And congratulations to all of you guys. Congratulations to Whoopi Goldberg, John Denver. Congrats to Bill and Peter, who I love. And congrats to Walter. Love that guy. So I was born a Muppet fan. Big Bird thrust into my greedy little baby hands. I grew up a Muppet fan, skipping t-ball practice to watch Muppet Show reruns on Nickelodeon. I've shaped my career in entertainment as a Muppet fan, always keeping in mind the lessons and the humor, the ideas and inspirations that the Muppets have taught me in shaping my own career. And I will die a Muppet fan, although hopefully not too soon. In doing the Muppet script, which is a loving tribute to the films of the Muppets, I've gotten the opportunity to work with some of the biggest Muppet fans in Hollywood, people who know these characters inside and out and who jump at the chance to perform them on stage in the weirdest way I could possibly imagine. But these shows would be nothing without Muppet fans. So people like you, people who see the vision that I'm putting out there, you cheer us on and let us know that what we're doing really matters. You donate to our causes, our charitable organizations, sometimes even more than I expected. We get additional donations every time that I'm just so blown away by. So thank you all for anyone who's done that. You catch all the Easter eggs and some of the fish that we throw into the audience from New Zealand. You've been there since we began these, selling out the first show in under 6 hours and breaking theater records when we sold out our next show in under 3 minutes. It's been an insane experience, and I'm just blown away by this community's commitment to helping, to laughing, to supporting, to singing along, and to being kind to each other in the world around us. Ever since my early days working at Tough Pigs, I've been seen, and I've been accepted and loved. And I want to thank everybody at Tough Pigs, especially for my start in the wider world of Muppet fandom. There's no better fan to be than a Muppet fan. So again, congratulations to everyone in the 2026 Hall of Fame. And one more time, thank you so much for this honor.
My name is Miss Leisure, and I love the Center for Puppetry Arts. I would live there if they let me, like all bagged up, hung upside down with the other puppets out in the warehouse. I grew up in Atlanta, so the center has basically always been a part of my life. It was the 80s, so basically all the media that I loved had puppets in it. And I took it for granted that when I would go home and build puppets myself, that's just what you do. I didn't consider myself an artist. I just considered myself a fan and a patron of the center. In 2018, I decided to take my relationship with the Center for Puppetry Arts to the next level, and I started training to become a museum docent. As a docent, I would sling fun facts like that in 1978, the Center for Puppetry Arts opened with a ribbon cutting ceremony, and the people who cut the ribbon were founder Vince Anthony, Jim Henson, and Kermit the Frog. It was the first center for puppetry in the US, and to this day remains the largest American nonprofit solely dedicated to the art of puppetry theater. In 2007, the Henson family selected the center to receive over 500 puppets and artifacts to honor Jim Henson's legacy. It's the largest collection in the world. The expanded museum opened in the fall of 2015. Half of the permanent gallery is now dedicated to worlds of puppetry, and the other half is entirely dedicated to Jim Henson's legacy. Over the years, there have been countless Henson special exhibits, but most recently, in 2025, the center hosted the exhibit Affectionate Anarchy, Creating with Jim Henson. It was an exhibit dedicated to the prank culture of Muppeteers on Muppet sets. But the center isn't only a museum. It has two other branches of focus, education and live puppetry theater. So in addition to becoming a docent, I started taking classes at the center's education department. I took classes on how to build various types of puppets, how to perform through movement, and how to use a monitor. I've watched hundreds of shows at the center, some geared to families and others to adults. I signed up to participate in the center's experimental puppetry theater program, a program created by the center to expand the use of puppetry in the community. It provides artists of all disciplines with skills development, a small grant, and a full weekend to publicly perform new works of experimental adult puppetry. Through this program, I myself built puppets, performed on stage, and eventually directed 3 live pieces, all which showed publicly at the Center for Puppetry Arts. On April 25th, 2026, over 30 Muppetgrammers from all over the continent gathered at the center for a meetup. The group was blown away by the large Jim Henson collection and the dozens of types of puppets that the center built in-house for the show Stinky Cheese Man. Center staffer Danny Hurd set the group up with a behind-the-scenes tour. We got to meet with Puppet Shop foreman Sam Carter and technical director Jeremy Valenz. Afterwards, Muppetgrammers spoke to me about how encouraged they felt by the center staff to pursue puppetry themselves, to both hone in and expand their craft, and ultimately to get their puppetry projects out into the world for everyone to see. Some people may not know, but Jim Henson, arguably the world's most famous puppeteer, was not originally interested in puppetry. He was interested in television, and puppetry, at least at first, was his means by which he was going to get on TV. But it was through puppetry that he built a community of Muppeteers who to this day speak about how much they learned working on the Muppets, how collaborative the process was, and ultimately how much joy that community brought to them. I think that the center has tapped into that same secret sauce. The Center for Puppetry Arts has a stated mission, and it's to inspire imagination, education, and community through the global art of puppetry. Mission accomplished. You know, I used to not think that I was an artist, but the Center for Puppetry Arts helped me realize that I am an artist. I've always been an artist, and in fact, everyone is an artist. The center has inspired our imaginations. It's provided accessible education, and it's fostered a wild, wacky, creative, and infinitely encouraging community. From myself and every person whose lives the center has ever touched, and whose dreams the center has ever fueled. Thank you. So, it is my great honor to induct the Center for Puppetry Arts into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Yay! CPA, 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 CPA.
Hey everybody, this is Hall of Fame creator Tori Schmidt. Due to various circumstances, we were not able to complete a full Bill Baretta segment in time for this year's ceremony, which really is a shame because Bill is a super important guy who's been active in Muppet stuff for decades, and he really deserves the whole world. But I, at the very least, would like to read his official bio from the Hall of Fame. So, as the legend goes, it all started with a toilet brush and a dream, but probably not really. Bill Baretta's Muppet fandom was evident from his first job in the Muppet world at Sesame Place, where he performed alongside Brian Henson. His first puppeteering gig with Henson came in Dinosaurs, where he performed the body of Earl Sinclair. 5 years later, he became a principal Muppet performer with his breakout character, Clueless Morgan. Breakout? Kidding. In Muppet Treasure Island, and later, Pepe the King Prawn, Bobo the Bear, and others on Muppets Tonight. Since then, he's become not only a producer, but a director, and a writer, and Muppet Captain. He's also taking on characters originally performed by Jim Henson himself, like Rolf the Dog, Dr. Teeth, The Swedish Chef, and Phenomena. He also frequently connects with Muppet fandom, thanks to his podcast/video show, The Baretta Brothers, which he, of course, co-hosts with his brother Gene. It's for all those reasons and many more that we are very glad to have Bill be inducted this year, and it is my honor to induct, even if this was kind of shaky, to induct Bill Baretta into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. And now, something else, I hope.
Hi, I'm Matthew Soberman from Tough Pigs. Last year, I went on a vacation to Orlando, and while I was there, I was finally able to meet my friend Zach Kenny in person. And what I found was a person just as generous with his time as he was with his art. Zach and I are alike in many ways. We both have a love for Muppets and Disney, especially the theme parks. We delight in crafting Muppet trivia questions, and the whole time, we couldn't help but be enthusiastic about what we were working on. Zach takes a lot of pride in his work and holds himself to a very high standard. Take, for example, his series honoring the Muppet performers. He managed to pack so many characters from the most popular to the incredibly obscure into every portrait. And yet, just a few weeks ago, Zach noticed that one of the characters in Peter Linz's illustration was actually performed by Matt Vogel. Now, given the picture was drawn in 2022, nobody would have blamed him if he just let it go and moved on to something else. But Zach decided he would redraw the whole thing. That's what sets Zach apart from the pack. He does things the right way, no matter how much time or effort it takes. I find that admirable. His attention to detail is meticulous, and his warmth and wit will always shine through. It's why we keep inviting him back to work on our group projects year after year. He also demonstrated his generous spirit when he drew special portraits of all the hosts from the first season of the 70 Years 70 Muppets podcast. Everyone on the team loved those. One of my personal favorite works he's done for Tough Pigs is the many contributions he made to the not-so-great Muppet mural we did for April Fool's Day. This really gave Zach's love for obscure characters a place to take center stage. And he showed off everyone from Dexter to the cow from the Jamboree number on The Muppet Show to Jeremiah Tortoise. In total, he created 26 individual illustrations for that mural, in addition to drawing the background and assembling the final product. It's nice to know that there's someone as dedicated to April Fool's Day as I am. Speaking of obscure characters, here's a bit of Zach trivia. Who is the subject of the oldest piece of Zach's Muppet fan art on DeviantArt? It's Stuckweed from The Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland. I bet you Zach knew that one. It is my honor to induct Zach Kenny into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Matthew. And thank you, Muppet Fan Hall of Fame Committee. There's always been a part of me that feels that I'm not good enough and that I'm not really worth anything, especially after a suffocating past 12 months. Not going to get into there. But so getting to hear acknowledgement that generally considers me at the same level as guys like Matt Wilkie,
Whoopi Goldberg and Peter Linz in terms of Muppet fandom as a whole. It's both an honor and personally a shock. I mean, me? Compared to the likes of like Jamie, Dave, or Smig, the art that I've done has pretty much just been Slim Wilson's. No, I mean Slim Pickens. Regardless, this award really is special, and even if most of us have never met in person and only have just chatted online about any kind of stuff, all your kindness in seeing me as an equal and loving what I do will not be forgotten. Like the woman in the moon said, one life touches many others. We should be sure that as many lives as we touch in as positive a way as we can. So, you guys have seen that, and you really have touched my heart in that kind of regard. I don't know what the future holds next in the fandom, be it little assistants, major collabs, podcast appearances for one show, or whatever, but I'm excited to see what kinds of Muppety nonsense I'll sketch up next. Thank you once again for this honor. See you soon. Bye.
Hello, I'm JD Hansel. When it comes to artists and illustrators, the online Muppet fan community has always had an embarrassment of riches. That's what makes it all the more remarkable when an artist comes along whose work is as beautiful as what we've been used to, but entirely different from anything we've seen before. This is one of many reasons why I'm happy to be inducting one of the great artists of Muppet fandom, and especially Labyrinth fandom, Kristi O. You may know her better as K.O. Makes Things. In her Muppet drawings, she brought Kermit and Piggy into the worlds of our favorite Disney movies, from Beauty and the Beast to Cinderella. She imagined a Muppet version of The Princess Bride that the public is clamoring to see. I know because these images left our little social circle and spread across the wide, wide internet until one day I was sent them by my mother over Facebook Messenger. That's how you know you made it. But that is not Kristi's only claim to fame. As a crafter, she has a unique specialty, creating stunning and screen-accurate prop replicas from Jim Henson's Labyrinth. From soft plushes to mechanical antiques, Kristi has continuously challenged herself to work with different materials to bring even the most obscure features of Sarah's world into our world. Better still, Kristi has often shared her process with us on her YouTube channel, where her excellent video editing fills me with jealous rage. Like, how did she make a series of photos of her hand lip sync like that? I don't understand. I don't understand! In recent years, we've seen Kristi branch out into Muppet replicas, dazzling anyone lucky enough to find them at a convention. I first met Kristi on Twitter back in, dare I say, the good old days, but today you'll find her work on Instagram, Tumblr, or her blog, and her presence in the community extends far beyond that. She was a featured artist on toughpigs.com in 2023. She's contributed multiple pieces as prizes for Tough Pigs Pride Month fundraisers, and she's a highly active member of the Tough Pigs Discord server. I can tell you personally, having had quite a few conversations with Kristi while I was going through rough times, she is one especially kind and supportive person. We're very lucky to have her in our community, not just for what she can do, but for who she is. It is my honor to induct Kristi O. into this year's class of the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Thank you.
So, first and foremost, thank you. I am incredibly honored to be inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. This may sound silly, but just a few years ago, the thought never occurred to me that there might be a community on social media for Henson fans to coexist together. I think I blame that on growing up and being the one kid in my school who was super into Labyrinth. Even if I managed to meet someone who had also seen Labyrinth, they definitely didn't obsess over it like I did. As I moved through life, I kind of just carried that with me. The thought that I'm probably the only one that cares this deeply about this movie. So imagine my surprise when in my internet wanderings, I came across the online Muppet community, where caring so deeply about something Henson related was not the exception, but the norm. I kind of feel like I just so happened to stumble into a really cool party. One where I was not originally invited, but when people saw me lurking in the doorway, they let me in and made space for me. And that making space has meant a lot to me. Socializing is something that I quite frequently struggle with. It's an ongoing puzzle in my life that I don't think I'll ever fully solve. As a result, I often find myself just lurking in the shadows, even when people have invited me in. And that sometimes leads to a worry of, am I doing enough to be a presence in this community? Do people even remember that I'm here? So it really means a lot to me to have been nominated for the Hall of Fame. It's a reminder that, yeah, I actually do have a place here. Maybe I do lurk in doorways, but for the times that I'm brave enough to cross the threshold, people in the party are happy to see me. So thank you to Tori, to JD, and to everyone in the community for letting me in.
Hi, I'm Tori Schmidt, the founder of the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame, and myself, an inductee. And when I started on Muppet Twitter, people didn't really give away their real names. I promise this story has a point. And so I was not Tori Schmidt, I was the Muppets No Context. But there was a very specific moment in my career when I realized, hey, maybe I should tell people my real name. And that's in 2022 when I went to the very first ever Jim Henson's birthday celebration at the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens. This young lady came up to me, ran up to me actually, because she had recognized me from Twitter, and she was like, "Hi, Muppets No Context." And I was like, ooh, maybe I should tell people my real name. That person ended up being one of my closest friends in this fandom, and in true icon, the Singulary named Mel. To say why Mel is in this Hall of Fame, to say why she deserves this, would take an hour. I don't have an hour. She is one of the most talented and dedicated fan artists there are. Her paintings and digital drawings exude life and show off these characters beautifully, especially when she focuses on her passion that is the electric mayhem. No one draws the mayhem like Mel. You can tell she cares about these characters deeply. I mean, look at Marisol. Look at her incredible original character, Marisol. And it's funny, I'm staring at some other Mel art. I have some pins and some stuff, but she's an incredibly talented digital artist. But I don't think we talk about enough is how good she is as a painter. This is actually a painting Mel did of a famous Broadway producer. I got this at one of the Momi swap meets. And that's the other thing about Mel. She's such a community leader. I remember one time I had bought a ticket to go see a screening of Muppets 2011 with Peter Linz in person. And I didn't realize how far away it was to New York when I bought the ticket, and I thought I was out of luck. Mel picked me up at the train station and took me to the theater. She didn't have to do that. That was the sweetest thing she could have possibly done. She is such a leader and a builder in this community, and I'm so happy for her, and it is my honor to induct the Singulary named Mel into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame.
Hi everybody, my name is Mel, also known as the Singularly named Mel, also known as What Mel Draws, also known as Golly G Mel, that was on Tumblr. Clearly I don't know the meaning of branding, but my name is Mel. You can just call me Mel. I just wanted to say it is my honor to accept being inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. It is an honor I've never seen coming. I've never even dreamed would happen to me because it just seems so cool. I'm really grateful to be part of this community. It's been, I guess, man, like probably, I mean, okay, I've been a Muppet fan my whole life, and I've grown up with the Muppets, you know, watched Sesame Street. Muppets from Space was my first and favorite film. Honestly, I'll say that's my favorite. It ties with the original Muppet film, and also I love Muppets Most Wanted. I don't know if that's a controversial opinion. But anyway, thank you so much for inducting me into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. It's really an honor to be put alongside these really cool Muppet fans who also make this community, and also I guess Muppet creators, because I know Bill Baretta is getting inducted this year, which, oh my gosh, Dr. Teeth's Puppeteer the same year. Look at us in the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Anyhow, rambling aside, it has been really, really great to be able to connect with the friends in the community that I've made, whether that's through like the in-person fan events, which I always love to bring stickers to, just to get to give out to folks, just 'cause I love to see the smiles on everyone's faces. It's always a joy to get stuff too. I'm wearing a bracelet that was given to me by, ooh, it says Dr. Teeth on it. Oh my gosh, I'm holding it the weird way. Okay, well, it is a bracelet, it says Dr. Teeth. And I got it at the Jim Henson Momi meetup for his birthday last year. And I've got a bunch of other goodies too, which I don't have on me. But yeah, it's really cool to be able to just meet up with fans in person and also do online events. And well, speaking of which, the fanzine projects, like the I've actually organized a couple of Muppet Secret Santa back in the Twitter days, like projects, and it's been really fun to be able to connect with people with about these characters, whether that's through shipping, whether it's through love of favorite characters, like this thing right here. I'm kind of obsessed with this guy. But yeah, it's been a really, really fun community, and I feel like it's made my life better in many ways. And thank you so much for being part of the community, everyone who's watching this video. And thank you, Tori, for running the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame for all these years. Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night / day, etc. whenever you're watching this. And yeah, hope you're moving right along in life and everyone's having an amazing time. Thank you. Bye.
John Denver, 15 seconds to curtain, John.
All right, Scooter, thanks.
Listen, Denver, you're a good kid. Let me help you get away so you don't have to do this crummy show. Come on.
Wait a minute. I want to work with the Muppets.
You do?
Well, yeah. I think this is a terrific show, Waldorf.
You're beyond help.
John Denver was a country artist known for hits such as Thank God I'm a Country Boy, Take Me Home Country Roads, and Rocky Mountain High. And he was no stranger to working with the Muppets. Not only was he a guest star on The Muppet Show, he had also starred alongside the Muppets in a couple TV specials, Rocky Mountain Holiday and John Denver and the Muppets, A Christmas Together. Since these were both musical specials, albums featuring the music from said specials were subsequently released. In honor of John's induction into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame, here is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on our troubles will be out of sight. Jake.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on our troubles will be miles away.
Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore.
Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more.
That's nice. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Hello out there, all you invisible people you, since this is pre-recorded and I'm looking at nothing. I have been asked to talk about my friend Andrew Leal, and now I shall read the pre-written copy I prepared. While I first connected with Andrew as a fellow contributor and administrator on Muppet Wiki, I only really came to know Andrew in the last several years, beginning with the COVID-19 pandemic, when we began simul-watching countless hours of his favorite intellectual pastime, archaic media. That is stuff like radio shows, classic films, golden age TV, and animation. Oh yeah, and some Muppet stuff too. This man can school you on the inner workings of all these things and the people who made them happen. On Muppet Wiki, Andrew has the place to unload his encyclopedic knowledge on topics you never thought you needed to know or were too afraid to ask. Topics like character actors, those underrated performers who play eccentrics, weirdos, and other distinctive supporting roles. People like Paul Dooley, Jack Gilford, Mary Wicks, and even Will Lee. Andrew is also a schmarty when it comes to international dubbing. It's a big world we live in with people speaking in many different languages, and we need someone like Arturo Mercado to voice Waldorf in Mexico. And just as much as that, we need someone like Andrew to give us a quality biography of his work. And then there's Old Time Radio. This is probably Andrew's magnum opus Muppet Wiki page, a comprehensive article detailing the influence radio shows had on the Muppets and its early cast and crew members. It's also filled with Muppet references to radio shows, uses of antique radios in Muppet productions, and shared connections such as radio stars and Muppet Show guests Edgar Bergen and Bob Hope, just to name two. From the beginning, Andrew has been a major player in why Muppet Wiki is as vast a website as it is. So congratulations on your induction, Andrew. Thank you for keeping the past alive and showing us how good entertainment is enjoyed the world over. And there's one more thing written here. Ugga, ugga, boo, ugga. Don't ask, archaic media.
Hey folks, I'm Will Carrol, and I'm as pleased as punch to be up here tonight to induct one of my all-time favorite performers, Mr. Peter Linz. For as long as I can recall, Peter's always been a part of my life in some way or form, be it through Between the Lions, Bear in the Big Blue House, or the 2011 Muppet movie, which was the first Muppet movie I ever saw on the big screen. Peter's always been there, putting us all into every part he's ever played, playing heaps of entertaining characters. It says something that on a performance level, Pete's got such a knack for the range of voices, and I thought Mel Blanc was a man of 1,000 voices. Whether he's playing gruff voices like Theo, or neurotic little nut jobs like Tutter, who I can relate to on a personal level, or to someone completely lovable and wacky and goofy as lips, he's one of my favorite members of the band. Thanks a lot, Peter, I owe you for that. But I digress. One big highlight for me in regards to this lovely man was when I sort of met him last year. It was during the time when the Rob Blake show with the Muppets unfortunately was cut short. And during that time, if I had friends who were part of the production, such as my friend Sebastiano Ricci or John Cody, I always liked to do portraits and give them out as gifts. I did not know that Peter was a part of the show until very late in the game. So, after I gave out everyone's portraits, the minute I got home, I drew one for Peter, he loved it, and he followed me online ever since, and that just seems like a small part in the grand scheme of things, but just knowing that a great performer like Peter, who has played a big part in my childhood, actively followed a little schlup like me, just says a lot. And that just shows how much of a great man he is and how he puts everything into what he does. I know I said that 100 times, but what else can I say? He's just that good. He's just that good of a person, as a performer, and we are so glad to have him here tonight in the Hall of Fame. So thank you all, and welcome, Mr. Peter Linz!
Oh, hi, Craig Shemin here, president of the Jim Henson Legacy and a member of the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. And as a member of the Hall of Fame, I've been asked to say a few words about one of the current inductees, Mr. Chris Stulz. Now, I've known Chris for quite a while. I would give Chris the shirt off my back, or to be more accurate, I'd sell him the jacket off my back. Apparently, Chris purchased one of my Henson Company jackets that I consigned to the Museum of the Moving Image. In fact, a bunch of Henson stuff I used to own is now in Chris's massive collection. I think he sneaks in here in the middle of the night and takes them. But he's very courteous. He leaves some money and, but seriously, Chris has been a Muppet fan his entire life. While he had many Muppet toys growing up, he became an active collector when he was 10 and took his first steps into the larger world of Muppet fandom a few years later with a subscription to Muppet Zine, even contributing to issue number 18 with his thoughts on the then newly released Muppet Treasure Island. Chris became active in online fandom, beginning with the Muppet Central, Palisades, and later the Tough Pigs forums. It was a great joy to meet his online friends in person at Muppet Fest. That event was really a blast. Chris was only one of a few fans selected to go on stage and learn how to perform a Muppet to the Muppet Show theme. It was at Muppet Fest where he met Danny Horn, who told him about the fan site he was starting called Tough Pigs. And Chris mentioned he wanted to do something similar, focusing on Muppet merchandise as an homage to the Muppet Stuff stores. This would be a destination called Muppet Stuff, an idea that would rattle around for over a decade before becoming reality. Only a year after Muppet Fest, Chris was an intern at the Henson Company, where he was tasked with going through the photo archives to find reference for the Palisades Toys Muppet action figure line. At Muppet Fest, Chris met his friend James from Muppet Central Forum, and for years they would message each other about the latest Henson item they found, and this was the true genesis of Muppet Stuff, fans helping other fans find items for their collections. In 2012, with the resurgence of Muppet Mania in full swing after 2011's theatrical hit, The Muppets, Chris not only officially launched Muppet Stuff, but also contributed the artwork and logo for the Muppet Mindset's weekly Muppet Wednesdays. The Muppet Stuff blog evolved from a Facebook page to a blog to other social media platforms such as Instagram and YouTube, where he not only covers news on upcoming products and productions, but also Muppet events and other fans' collections. By 2020, Chris's collection had well over 3,000 items in it, and because of the pandemic, it was selected to be the first remote episode shot of the MeTV series Collector's Call. Since it was all remote and done over Zoom, Chris had to shoot all the footage of his collection himself, and he didn't get to meet Lisa Whelchel in person. Chris made an impromptu cameo on the first episode of the Baretta Brothers podcast and later appeared in the Super Bowl, Big Game pre-show episode where he gave a live tour of his collection. This led to Gene Baretta asking Chris to organize the vendors for the Muppets Take Mahoning drive-in events at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, which was such a success that I asked Chris to help organize Momi's Jim Henson's birthday collectible Swamp Meat, which will be happening again this year in September. Chris relishes being able to bring his fellow fans together and help them find the missing pieces to their collections. And that's what really impresses me about Chris. He doesn't just accumulate stuff, he helps redistribute it, and in doing so, he spreads the joy of Muppet Stuff all around. So congratulations, Chris, and welcome to the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame.
Wow, thank you all so much. As a lifelong Muppet fan, it is a great honor to be not only nominated, but to be inducted into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. I want to thank Tori and everyone there that deemed me worthy of this honor. I want to thank Craig Shemin, not only for inducting me, but for allowing me to be part of the planning commission for the Henson birthday weekends at Momi these last few years, as well as Gene Baretta for allowing me to be part of the Muppets Take Mahoning events. Both events have really opened up a whole world for fans, and I can't wait to see everyone at a future event. Thank you again for this nomination, for the induction, and for checking out the Muppet Stuff Museum and allowing me to share my collection with all of you.
No, listen, you.
What?
Look at my face. Look, real close. Now, do you see a beak? No, you don't.
No, I
You
don't.
see that I have a nose, but I do not have a beak.
Yes. No, you don't.
Well.
Okay, enough. Listen, I was just playing with you.
Oh.
I know you don't have feathers or wings or a beak.
hoots.
All in fun, Whoopi.
All right.
You handled it well.
Thank you.
I am very proud of you, woman.
Well, I say very proud of you, Owl.
Whoopi!
That's my name.
That's right.
Hi, I'm still Matthew Soberman. And unless they finally found my secret essay, Howard Tubman, the best Muppet ever, I'm still with Tough Pigs. I've been fortunate to be on the voting committee for the Hall of Fame for the last 4 years. And every year I've been there, I've made it a pet project of mine to get Whoopi Goldberg inducted. I know she might not be the best known nominee to a lot of people, but to me, she represents what the celebrity category is made to honor. Passion, but most of all, consistency. Even before stardom, she was part of the Sesame Street family, babysitting kids that appeared on the show. And even as her career has evolved from a comedian to an actress to a daytime television icon, she continues to contribute to the world of the Muppets. Just on Sesame Street alone, she's appeared on episodes and assorted specials and projects more than a dozen times. And that's not just because she's based in New York. She believes in what Sesame Workshop stands for. Of all her credits, the one that stands out the most to me is the video she narrated about what Sesame Workshop does and how the money raised from merchandise and home video helps fund the mission of educating children around the world. That could have just been anyone. They're never seen on screen, but Whoopi lent her star power to grab people's attention and invite them to share that mission. Of course, she's had her fair share of appearances with the Muppet Show characters as well. She's sung reggae with rats, driven the Muppets to the airport, and even offered divine intervention to Kermit. She's even worked on Bear in the Big Blue House. Like I said, she's the model of passion and consistency. I'll close with some of Whoopi's own words. I knew that I had made it in my career when I was in Mad Magazine and I got to play with the Muppets. Those are the two things that really mattered. Yes, it's brilliant to have an Oscar, but if you get to play with the Muppets as much as I have, that's an amazing thing. I hope you'll join me in shouting, Whoopi! As we induct Whoopi Goldberg into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame.
Hello, I didn't see you there. I'm 5-time Emmy nominee and host of the popular podcast Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, Jarrod Fairclough. It's my honour to be here today to induct Kermitment into the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. And I should know what a pleasure it is. I was, after all, an inductee in the very first year. What do you get when two friends decide to watch every bit of Muppet media ever created? I'm not just talking Kermit and the Gang, I'm talking hundreds of hours of Sesame Street, animated Fraggle Rock, The Ghost of Fafner Hall, whatever the hell that Lady Gaga special is. In full disclosure, they haven't gotten to that yet, but when they do, woof. You get the podcast Kermitment, hosted by Matthew Gaydos and Sam Schultz, which, at time of recording, have over 210 episodes. 2 of them are quite good. I'm in episodes 92 and 203. Would you like to hear me call Steve Whitmire self-indulgent? 203. Yes, as of time of recording, 212 episodes. Would you believe they're only up to 1989? I mean, what kind of madmen would subject themselves to this kind of torture? Well, they're the kind who also create things called Muppets, which are an abomination against humanity, and they will answer for their crimes in hell. In all seriousness, I actually really appreciate what these two are doing. I love their show, even if they do keep winning all the Muppet Fan Awards and stealing them out from under me. Matt and Sam are pioneers, and they're also just good dudes. I have notes. I'm not gonna lie and act like I did write all this down, and I'm just making sure. I do think they're good dudes. But I did write down, and so this is from the heart, but from the heart about 25 minutes ago before my girlfriend called, and I didn't get to do this because she called between me writing this and me doing this. Anyway, Matt and Sam are pioneers, but they're also just really good dudes. I'm thrilled they're getting this recognition today, and I'm genuinely honoured to be the one inducting them into the Hall of Fame. They're smart, they're funny, they're a little mad, and that makes them one of us. So welcome, Matt and Sam, and Kermitment. to the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. By the way, it's a $90 induction fee, but you can pay that directly to me and I'll make sure Tori gets it.
Thank you, Jarrod, for what I assume was an amazing, heartfelt, tear-jerking introduction. And thank you to the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame and everyone on the selection committee.
We also want to thank our wives and our friends and Matt's baby who've put up with Sunday morning recordings, late night editing sessions, and hours of Muppet Babies.
We'd also like to thank our listeners. This isn't meant to be a plug for our Patreon, but there are so many great people over there on our Patreon, in our Discord, helping us track down clips that we've missed, filling in our knowledge gaps, and sharing bits of their lives with each other and with us. And we just have our own little fun community over there, and it's really great. And so we're thankful for all of them as well.
When we started Kermitment, I don't really know what either of us pictured it being exactly, but I never would have guessed that we'd end up talking to Muppet performers or biographers or people with firsthand experience working with Jim Henson. And I never would have guessed that we'd end up with such an intimate idea of who Jim was, a guy that wasn't perfect, but made more perfect things than most people do, and who gathered up a crew of talented, funny, dedicated people who helped him make a little world of shows and movies with the goal of making the world a better place. And he was a guy who failed a lot, but he never stopped believing in his ideas and in his goals. And that resonates a lot with me, and I would guess it probably resonates with lots of other Muppet fans too. Being weird, believing in yourself, making weird stuff, that's all very hard to do in this world. And not everybody is going to get the stuff that you do and the stuff that you make, but some people will, and you'll make their lives better. And if you let them, they'll make your life better too, and you can change your little corner of the world.
Yeah, and I don't have a ton to add to what Sam already said because he said it beautifully. But I do want to thank a couple of people who we thank at the end of every episode of our podcast. The first one being our friend Tuna. Joseph Tuna Medish is a friend of ours who we asked early on to just make us some banjo music for our podcast. And he did such a fantastic job that we still use his music throughout every single episode. He's the one playing the banjo underneath the amazing voice of Cassie Wilson, someone else I want to thank, who most people would know for her comedy on Instagram, making videos in support of the mayor of New York or taking down AI. But I have known her for a very long time as a musician. And so when we wanted to have a nice voice sing our theme song, I reached out to her and she just produced something in like one take that I can't imagine being anything else at this point. And in the most positive way has ruined Rainbow Connection for me because I can't hear those banjos kicking in without thinking of our own podcast theme song. I also wanted to make a quick note to the people who I've got to meet in person because of this podcast, which is, again, one of those things you don't imagine when you start a podcast is how it will be received, but also what it will lead to. And a couple of years ago, getting to go to New York to the Museum of the Moving Image to hang out with people from Tough Pigs and Muppeturgy and just the listeners of this podcast in person and other Jim Henson fans. It was amazing and fantastic getting to meet you all, getting to talk about the podcast, or just getting to see this fandom of Muppets in person. I think is really energizing. And I think things like this, the Hall of Fame, the Twitter awards, all these things that happen in these online spaces are amazing as well. But there's something about being there in person, experiencing other people and getting to talk about the weird stuff that we're all into is just so, it makes you feel like you're not alone. And one of my favorite things Sam pointed out that we definitely didn't realize before starting this podcast was how often Jim Henson failed at something he was trying really, really hard at. And through the things we've watched or the stories we've heard from people who worked with him firsthand, that work is what really resonates with me the most. That he just kept going because he had ideas and a clear passion. And that was enough for him to just say, of course, why would I not keep making things? Not going to compare us to Jim Henson in any way. But when we started this podcast, we had no idea if it would last 5 weeks, let alone 5 years. And so I just want to say that we are so happy that you all continue to listen and support this podcast, especially the Morpets, but also, to a lesser degree, me and Sam.
And I think the one thing I forgot was like a huge thank you to this community of fans who existed before us, and people who were here before we were, and who paved the way for us to do what we're doing. And all the people who put clips on the internet and all that, and Muppet Wiki, like all of the stuff that was done so we can do what we do. That's really like, I don't know, it wouldn't be possible without the fandom already existing. So thanks to everybody.
Yeah, thank you all very, very much. And we'll just keep, I guess, doing this until the day we die.
Until somebody makes us stop.
Until then, until we maybe catch up or we perish from our mortal coils, we will keep making Kermitment.
That's a threat and a promise.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Rain for rain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land.